Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun,
it's okay. I added that bit in.
dun,
Remember?
dun, 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 dun.
Oh, please just stop, Craig.
He's
Wait,
a
was that
menace.
was that Mare? I thought that was. I thought Onod got that in live.
Good morning and welcome to the Hobby Breakfast Show podcast, kicking off 2024. Woo! Only 1 month in for the first pod, thanks to the Christmas special. God, we haven't recorded one of these in literally a month and a half.
Yeah.
Feels weird to have had this big a gap. I'm joined as always by OT and Mare. Say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, I'm the mayor and he's OT.
Classic banter. And today we are going to be doing some tier listing, as I believe it's called. Specifically, we're going to be
The low-hanging fruit of podcast episodes.
Yeah, exactly. The we can't think of anything better to do at the beginning of 2024 option. Over the next few pods, we're going to be going through all of the heroes, tier by tier. And
really
I guess,
aren't we?
well, only named heroes, just to be clear.
Named heroes. Let's. We've already done most of the unnamed heroes, to be fair.
We did the unnamed heroes, didn't we, in their own tier list? I guess the point in this is going to be, rather than just going legendary heroes are really good, we're going to be comparing them to models within their own tier. So they're going to be in separate little voids, and we're going to be starting at the bottom and working our way up. But before that, let's talk some hobby. What have we been up to since we last spoke in 2023?
You've all had a long time, so you should have done lots of
we should have
painting.
loads.
I've done my fair share. I've done my 20 for the month plus. I did finishing off of my Amazonian Blood Bowl, and I painted 3 squads of Magna Guards, which I bought on a whim, and 4 heroes, Cad Bane, Ventress, the Super Tactical Droid, and Bosk. And now I'm working on some Kill Team Space Wars, whatever they're called, the Hearthkin salvages, with some lovely pink armor. So maybe you'll see those next month. Maybe you won't. Hopefully you will, because that'll mean I've actually painted something.
There we go. Lots of Star Wars Legion from Mare. OT, what have you been up to?
I've also done lots of Star Wars Legion. I honestly can't remember most of it. So there you go. I've done an ATRT for the Rebels. It's my first vehicle, actually, I think ever, that I've actually completed. Turns out it wasn't that hard. I just dry brushed the whole thing silver and then put some Nuln Oil over it, and it wasn't too difficult. What else have I done? I've done some Rebel Troopers. I did a load of clones just before Christmas. Here they are. Yeah, I did. I hate painting white. It's really difficult and it's not very rewarding, and it makes me feel like I'm bad at painting. And then finally, last couple of days, I've done some heroes for the Rebels: Cassian, Lando, K2SO, and Anakin. Obviously not for the Rebels, Anakin. And then I've also done a squad of Rebel Pathfinders. So I've probably done about 25 maybe, but I couldn't really tell you.
Lots of Legion nerds.
Nice.
There we go. Good. I have been mainly painting Middle-earth this month. So what have I done? I've painted 4 more just Hobbit red shirts. Just generic militia. I don't think I've even taken a photo of them because they're just exactly the same as every other Hobbit I've painted. But
a photo of them here.
I might have taken a photo. I might just put up an old one and no one.
Oh, yeah, the exact same photo.
I've also painted up Samwise the Brave on foot. I have taken a photo of him. This is a small little conversion I did of a plastic Samwise from the Fellowship set. And then I've just removed his backpack and his waistcoat so that he matches the model on Pony, so that I've got a little dismount. I painted up some little objective markers for my Shire Force. So I've got 6 little crates.
Very cute.
Food, or I like there's a little pot and that sort of stuff. Because I had never got around to doing them, but had been intending to for quite a while. And then finally, I have painted up the 3 trolls, which were quite fun to paint. I painted them differently to how they are in the films because I think they look a bit cooler in a slightly more cave troll-esque paint scheme. Bit more stony for my stone trolls rather than the kind of weird cream color they were in the films. I didn't really like that. So there we go. And I also painted
for a flesh color.
Yeah, I don't really know if I like trolls being actual flesh colored though. Do you know what I mean? Like it's weird.
Well, because aren't they stone? They're not stone. No, it's stone giants, isn't it? But they have a name. They're like mountain trolls or something.
Yeah, I think they're mountain trolls, aren't they?
I don't think mountain trolls should be flesh coloured.
No, I mean I get the logic of like creatures that live in caves don't have pigment in their skin, do they?
I mean, you might be going into more detail on this than we need to.
Yeah, but then wouldn't they be like a kind of white rather than the? I don't know. I also didn't like the fact that they were the same color as the goblins. It felt like. Anyway, we're
moving on.
Yeah, so I painted them. They were quite fun to paint. Did not have great success with them in my first game, but
spoilers.
Oh shit! Yeah, sorry.
And also, you were playing me with my disgusting dice rolling, so you're not really at fault there.
Yeah, true. That might be making its way onto the channel at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Right. So concludes hobby. Let's have a look at our tier list. We're going to be looking at all of the independent and minor heroes. We're going to be lumping them in today. We're going to be going through our classic. Legendary is the best. We've then got whiff as the worst. So whiff being kind of like they're just completely rubbish in the game. Don't really serve any real function, purpose, or they're overcosted, or we just think they're a bit naff.
We just hate them.
Yeah, legendary being very solid. No, well, that's bad because we've got a rank called solid. Legendary is good. And let's just leave it at that. There's not many evil boys I noticed when I was going through and compiling this. The evil factions did not get many independent and minor heroes. So there you go. That's interesting. Should we? I think let's just quickly set out. I think independent heroes. What makes a good independent hero? I think something which like slots into a warband of another hero quite well is kind of how I imagine a good independent hero. It's like they add something to another hero, but you're not necessarily, they're not leading troops or anything, but they add a little something extra. Or in the case of like the Watcher in the Water, they're just a beast, Minor heroes, I don't really know if I know what the function of a minor hero is.
I think often it's a limiting factor. So like,
yeah,
either they're like a named character, I guess, that is just a bit too shit to be leading a lot of people. But then they're a named character and therefore they can lead some people.
Or in the case of Kurdan, they're a little bit too good to be leading lots of people, and so got nerfed into being a minor character. But anyway, we're going to go through in the order that they have generated into the tier list. So no order other than that. We're going to be starting off with everyone's least favorite monobrow boy, Alfred. What do we think of him?
I mean, he obviously got nerfed, but he's still really, really good in a lot of lists, even ones that aren't his main faction.
Can we just check, because of my ignorance, in that I refuse to learn a lot of the stuff from The Hobbit, is Alfred the Councillor the same as Alfred in Lake Town?
Yes.
Like, are they the same profile? Okay, so this one's an independent hero rather than being able to lead 12 dudes. I think he's still pretty good, though, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong, but in maybe I've missed something. But in the Hobbit book originally, he was Fortitude. Does that mean he's been changed?
No. So in
I see.
Lake Town, he is independent.
That makes
So
sense.
this is specifically survivors, Alfred.
Okay, cool. So that's not the one that comes with the Master of Lake Town.
No.
That probably, I mean, he's probably still good. Like, I mean, the fact that he doesn't actually have 3 might, but you can kind of think of him like that.
Yeah. I mean,
you
I
can
guess
distribute the 3 might.
you're taking
Whereas-
him to buff Bard, aren't you, in survivors?
Yeah.
So he probably has some use. Should we stick him in solid or fantastic for now, and then we can rearrange later?
I think in survivors he feels like a solid hero. Like, I don't think he's particularly special, but I have to say I've never faced that list, and I've never played that list, so this is not an area of expertise for me.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll rearrange.
Yeah, I think the more we go on, the more we're going to be like, actually, he's probably a bit better because there's a lot of characters that are middling or not very great. So, but yeah, I'm happy with top of solid or bottom of fantastic. I know it'll be top or bottom at the moment, but
Right, let's speedily move on because I don't think I've ever talked about Alfred for that long in one go ever.
I don't think you've ever talked about Alfred, apart from how much you hate him and his stupid monobrow.
I try and avoid him. Anborn, who, if you don't know, is one of the Rangers introduced in the supplements for the Rangers of Athelion. What do we think of him? He's a generic Ranger hero. He's a minor.
So he's the one who gets lethal aim, which is a 3 point of might to spend on in the way to wound or to hit when he's shooting. Basically, he's 35 points, so he's like Damrod plus.
He's fine.
Yeah. Like, I think if you were going like max bows and Rangers of Athelion, you'd probably take him, but I can't really see a reason to take him in normal Gondor. Like, he's not particularly exciting. He's fairly solid value, but I don't think he's like
he's quite cheap. He lets you get more bows into Rangers list.
Yeah.
He's probably going in like average or solid, isn't
he? Yeah. I mean, I think, as you say, like the warping with only having minor and independent heroes is actually going to mean that the ones who seem bang average may actually turn out to be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm almost tempted to immediately move Alfred to fantastic.
Let's immediately put him lower end of fantastic because I think he's going to keep moving up.
What about Mablug? Definitely
Lung.
Definitely a distinct character from Anborn.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So he's the one who gives all rangers within 6 inches of him stalk unseen, and enemy models any models being shot by a ranger within 6 inches of him don't get stalk unseen.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it is if you're against stalk unseen, which I think is not super common.
Well, yeah, true. Okay.
No,
but
Morgul Stalkers is like basically the only target for that.
And Elven Cloaks. He gives Stalk Unseen, though, did you say?
Yes, within a 6 inch bubble.
So everyone within a 6 inch bubble counts as having Elven Cloaks, and
only him, only Rangers of Gondor, him, Faramir, Madril, Damrod, and Anborn.
But you're not taking him unless you're doing a Rangers list, are you? I mean, it sounds better than Anborn to me.
I think it's just different. Like, I think Anborn's shooting thing is probably fairly solid, but like, I think in the scenarios where you'd be using Rangers of Athelion, i.e., they'd probably be hiding in a wood, and getting Stalk Unseen in the wood would probably be pretty nice. So yeah,
some cheeky little Elven Cloaks.
Yep.
Top of solid or bottom of fantastic?
I think above Anborn, but I don't think he'll make it to fantastic personally. But we'll see.
Next up, we've got Barlaman Butterbur.
Yeah,
the Mega Chad.
Do you know his rules, or do you want me to read them out for you?
I roughly remember his rules. He has some sort of thing where he can spell will points, doesn't he?
Yeah, so if he spends
a will point, might on a 4-up.
So yeah, it's during his move phase. If he's in base contact with a friendly hero model, it's a 5+. They may gain a wound they lost earlier in the battle. If it's a model from the Fellowship Army list, they regain it on a 4+.
I mean,
gets Bill the Pony for 15 points cheaper, and he can benefit from Bill's official meals and second breakfast special rule.
He's got fun little rules, but actually you're never going to take him outside of theme. Like, he doesn't do enough, does he?
Yeah, and also fun little rules don't win you games. Unfortunately, like it's bullshit that wins you games. So yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say that he's in whiff, but a fun whiff.
I think whiffs. I think he'll. I'm holding out for bottom end of average, but
You
yeah,
think bottom end of
I'm not
average?
gonna. I'm not gonna argue he's good.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't do as much as a lot of the other independent heroes do. I think, like his buffs aren't quite as handy.
No,
I'm happy to pop him in bottom of. Oh, he's a minor actually, so he can't even. I guess it doesn't matter though because he's an ally, so you can't. Yeah, we'll put him bottom end of average for now. Bill the Pony, legendary. No more discussion
needed.
The guy killed the White Warg. I mean, come on now.
Well, he helped. I think it was saved with fate, but
true, yeah.
I personally
that
that was in our epic game.
Yes, I know
that awful double.
No, I think that was in the film.
I'm putting Bill in whiff. I think he's rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, considering, he just is bad, isn't he? But he's cool.
Yeah.
Therefore, he's in legendary.
Yeah, he's in legendary. Don't worry.
I've put him in whiff on mine.
Oh well, no one will ever see.
No one will ever see. I'll put a screenshot as like the pinned comment or something.
I actually think that if Bill was a little bit cheaper, maybe you'd actually take him for that 5 up. But I think he's a little bit too expensive for what he.
Or if it was like a 4 up, like if you could actually rely on it, it might be worth it. But
even if he was just a banner for the entire fellowship, then he'd be very good.
He might be a bit too good then if they all had.
But you can up the points then, can't you? And he's only a pony, so you're going to be able to snipe him and stuff. But yeah, as is, he probably is very sadly in the old whiff. Folko Boffin, who the best picture I could find of him is for some reason facing the wrong way.
Facing away.
Perfect. I think Folko's a whiff. His main thing is that he lets Frodo, who in the Shire can't attack, uses might points. Yeah. And you've got so much like random might points floating around in that Shire list.
It's just free moves though, isn't it?
Yeah, but you could get free moves by like fucking shoving in like Farmer Maggot, couldn't you? Like Folko is like, you get some free moves, but why not? I would bring every other Hobbit hero might point before I start bringing Folko to give Frodo more might. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
How many points is
I haven't exactly seen him fielded very much, so I don't really know.
I will just check for you, OT.
If he's like very cheap, if he's like less than 20 points,
he's 20 points.
Oh, okay.
And Frodo can only use it to call a heroic move, so he can't use it instead of other might. Frodo only has 1 might, so it does give him 3 potential free heroic moves. Hobbits do benefit from heroic moves just because it allows you to swarm a bit better. But it's not like you're a cavalry army where it's like lethal. It's just you're slightly less likely to die if you move first.
Question: if they're in a bad faction, and that effectively like makes the effect of the model worse, does that mean we rank them lower?
Yeah, I think so because we're taking in a little bit of the content list.
Okay, so
I think he's whiff.
I was going to put him bottom of average or top of whiff.
He's unarmed as well. He's another unarmed that you
add him to the list.
Like you could take 4 sheriffs or 4 archers instead of him, and I'd rather have either of those.
Yeah. Okay. I've put him at bottom of average in mine, but you're welcome. Given yours is the one people will see.
Mel, you can decide it. Average or whiff?
Average. I think there are more worthy whiffs.
Speaking of more worthy whiffs, Meriadoc, Knight of the Riddermark. I think that's an easy whiff.
Yeah, it's trash.
What? You're shitting
What?
me.
We're not talking about Durnhelm. We're talking about the separate profile for Merry now.
But is this in the context of Rohan or in the context of the Shire?
Well, this isn't his Shire model, who's a hero of valor, and a separate profile.
Well, in that case, I agree.
Right, good, yeah. Let's move on. So, Merry and Pippin, I'm not bothering to separate them on the tier list because they're the exact same.
Why would you?
They're probably average just because at least they allow the Fellowship to do a little bit of stuff in the Legendary Legion, and they can sit in your objective whilst everyone else does work. But
there's also that really niche combo where they can use Boromir's Might, so you can combat and strike in the same turn.
That is true, actually, yeah. So I would say they're an average. I'm going to say they're slightly more useful than Barla.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rosie. I'm a big fan of Rosie.
Yeah, she's a war gear option for Sam, but she's a really good war gear option for Sam.
She's a nice little addition to Sam.
Yeah.
She's much better priced than, say, for example, Folco, whilst arguably being more useful.
Her effect is stronger, for sure.
And she's more survivable because she's got 2 fate points for 5 points less. But giving Sam 2 attacks in that army, where he's actually strength 3, and, you know, I would say in a lot of games I've played, he's the only person with this combo you can rely on to kill like an Orc warrior every turn, and that's actually quite useful in the Shire.
Because any other Shire hero with heroic combats, like they often don't have enough attacks to kill the model they're attacking. Whereas he, I mean, not saying he always will, but he's one of the few models that might.
Getting an extra attack on Sam and getting the heroic combat shenanigans for 15 points, I would say that personally I'd be putting a top of average or bottom of solid in the context of the Shire. Obviously, if you're being really competitive with Shire, you're probably not bringing Sam until you're at high points anyway. But I think when you're at those high points, there's even more argument that Rosie should be included. Because Freddy Garbolger, we heart Freddy Gar,
but he is awful.
He's shit. Whoa!
He's the worst hero profile in the game.
I was about to say that.
He's 10 points, and he allows you to force your opponent to deploy their entire army before deploying real warbands.
Yeah, but if you're playing Shire, they're going to do that anyway.
No, because like if they have 2 warbands, rather than having to deploy one of your real warbands, you deploy Fedigar. He is shit, but he is useful for doing that.
Trust me when I say it doesn't help.
I don't know. I found it pretty helpful in my games.
I mean, sure, it's nice to see your opponent deploy.
I'm not saying he needs to go really high. I'm just saying I'm putting him at the top of whiff. He's more useful than Mary and Bill.
He can go at the top of whiff because he's cool.
He's
a swell guy.
Aldor, is it?
Yeah.
Old man with bow.
Yeah, I think actually here we're getting a bit higher now. I think Aldor's going to be pretty high.
He's fine. I mean,
he's good.
Wouldn't say he's better than either of those rangers we discussed earlier.
I feel like he is only because I've played against him, and I played against him 2 or 3 times now. He's very nice because when you're using Defenders of Helm's Deep with Gambling's Banner, you can shoot with him a bunch, and he always goes first, which isn't that useful, but can be. You can burn all of his might like as fast as you want, and then he'll be getting his free might every turn before you've even reached combat. And at that point, you're basically just using free might on a character rather than having to burn through like Theoden's might or someone more useful to get more might, if that makes sense. So he can become your move gremlin or whatever.
Your move gremlin.
Yeah,
That is what people say.
What does that even fucking mean? So what you're saying is that you like him because he only has one might point, and so therefore you can get him to 0 might quicker, so that you can give him another might point back with gambling. Is that right?
And then call free moves.
Aren't you basically therefore arguing that gambling's a good hero and this guy just happens to be there?
Well, no, he's enabling. He's being enabled by gambling in the same way that, like,
sure, yeah, I guess. So you're arguing he's a 20-point upgrade to gambling.
Basically, yeah.
He's a war gear option,
and he has a bow. Yeah, I guess I see your point.
I'm not saying he's incredible, but he's quite useful, and he's a character that you can put might on a bow, and not worry about spending it to get an occasional kill.
I'm putting him between the two rangers.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I don't really care, so you can go there.
Okay.
Haleth. I think Haleth is probably fantastic. Legendary. He's definitely good.
Like, for the points, like how tough he is, the buff he gives, like, and I like the fact that I think, to be honest, if we're looking below, like, even in solid, these are models that often wouldn't appear in like a competitive list, whereas like I think Haleth definitely would be included in a lot of Defenders of Helm's Deep lists, which is a good list. So on that basis, I'd put him legendary.
The only reason that I would maybe legendary is that his +1 fight only activates if he's in combat, which is a bit annoying because I know he can call the heroic defense and he's got the 2 fate points and 2 wounds, so he isn't going to die immediately. But you do he's not like your buffer like Rosie, where you can just stick her back and she just cheers on Sam. Like you have to get him stuck in, so it's like he is in danger of Azog just wrecking him if he's standing on the front line.
I think the buff that's being provided is significant enough that it's probably worth it.
Do we think he's better than Alfred then?
I think so. I think in the list, I think Alfred is probably better in pure Lake Town, as it were, but in Survivors maybe not as necessary. Although maybe that's not fair. Like maybe they're both like really good.
No, people who play Survivors are going to be wrecking this decision to put Alfred lower.
I mean, this is the risk we ran by trying to do some kind of legendary tier list.
Okay, we'll put Haleth in legendary. Next up, we got the Watch in the Water, who probably is going to be legendary as well.
Legendary, yeah.
He's very strong.
Some good shit.
Yeah. Lobelia whiff.
Absolute trash.
So
I know she has some like interesting rules, but I think it's too difficult to actually ever.
She'll die before she gets to use them.
Well,
where does she fit alongside the others?
Oh, at the bottom.
Really? She's the absolute.
She's less useful than Bill, in my opinion. At least Bill's rule might occasionally work. Her rule is as likely to fuck you over. At least 33% of the time, Bill's giving you a might point. Like, he serves a purpose rather than being an unarmed hobbit who doesn't lead many troops and is fucking pointless.
Yep, I think there's definitely some logic there.
I don't like Lobelia. I don't.
No, it was slightly obvious in the tone.
I don't get why you take her now that they've released all of the scouring Hobbit heroes.
Yeah.
She had a purpose because at some point Hobbits max out on how much they can take, and you have to take her. And now that they've introduced all the other ones, it's like I could take the sheriff leaders, I could take Gaffer, I could take Farmer Cotton. I could take what's his face? That guy.
Literally any other.
That one.
Literally any of them. Why can't I remember his name? The mayor. It's funny that I forgot that one, isn't it?
Fuck?
Yeah, it's awkward.
Big bit
Fuck
awkward. Right, we move swiftly on. Arwen. Arwen then. I think Arwen is probably does enough to be in solid, but probably below Aldor.
So, I don't know. Like, the problem is she's 70 points, and like she has 2 wounds, 1 fate, and is D3.
I think she's pretty good.
Really? I'd put her. I've put her at top of average.
Okay.
I think me and Mare want to put her in solid, so we'll go with the majority.
Or solid.
Bottom of solid it is.
I feel like she's put out by all the other really good elves in her list. I haven't had a chance to say anything yet because you kept fucking cutting out.
Well, that's not my fault, is it? Jeez.
To be fair, it did mean I had lots of silences that I could have talked in.
Yeah, exactly. The Crowman.
Literally S tier.
Legendary.
He's fucking incredible. He's so good.
He's actually really good.
I think he probably is, yeah. I'm going to put him below Haleth, though. Bottom of Legendary.
Ooh, below Haleth.
He's useful, but like a lot of the time, really what you're doing is you're just making your opponent leave 3 infantry models in their deployment zone.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but like I think most people would rather do that than let him actually use his rule. So yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, okay.
Baragon's Gondor man. I don't think I've ever seen Baragond ever.
I've never played him either, but I think he's quite good.
I think he's okay.
Why wouldn't you just pay like 20 points more and take another named captain who can lead more troops and is better?
Because he's got a cheap horse and a longbow.
That's true.
Yeah, is that enough reason to take him though?
Possibly.
He's competing in a.
Yeah, I mean the problem is, as you say, he's in Gondor, which is a fucking thankless task. So, maybe not, but I think he definitely has utility.
I feel like I'd almost rather just take a captain.
But he's cheaper than a captain.
Yeah, but I could give a captain a lance.
You could, but that makes the captain more expensive.
Yeah, but I feel like I'd rather pay the 60, 70 points over 35. Would I rather a captain, even though he's double as expensive as Baragond?
That's only a question only you can answer.
I think I probably would, actually.
Really?
It's plus 1 defense. It's got an extra attack, an extra wounds, an extra might. He's got march. And he then has the lance for charges. I actually think that is better for the 35 points. Yeah, I don't like Baragond. I don't.
You've just decided.
I think he's average.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I disagree, but there you go.
We'll put him in. We'll put him in average. God, Rosie fucking sneak into solid is just.
Yeah, she's looking increasingly out of place. But
the most ridiculous bias, but she's staying there. Fuck you. We continue on. Eowyn, regular Eowyn. She's kind of been outshone by Dernhelm.
Yeah.
I think when you compare her to all of these schmucks, though, she probably is actually still solid, you know?
She is cheap. Like, that is something very much in her favour. Like, 40 points for 2 might, 2 will, 2 fate, fight 5, 2 attacks. Like, on the charge, she's getting 3 attacks at fight 5. That's not bad.
Yeah, although admittedly you have to make her a lot more expensive to get all that.
Well, I mean you could go horse, even if you went like horse, armor, shield, that's still only 60 points. That's not bad. and she can strike.
Yeah. She's essentially like a different captain option, isn't she? Because once you give her the armor and the shield to make her the same defense as a captain, you're losing a strength point, but you're gaining a fight point. You're gaining a will and a fate and a courage. So you're getting all of that. You're losing the march, but you're getting the strike.
Yeah.
And the strength.
She is only a minor hero, is worth noting as well. Like that, obviously, like for what.
Yeah, so leading less troops. I think that she'd still. I don't think you do take her because I think you take Durnham instead. But I think that for her points with 6 riders, she's still fine. Actually, enough to be in solid in this tier list against these fucking detritus.
The fact, I mean, she's in the same tier as Rosie. Like, I don't think she could be below Rosie. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I would put
we don't have any credibility, but good lord,
I'd put her top of solid personally. She's. I think she's better than Arwen, right?
She's better value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I guess the cheeky little wrath is quite useful, but even so,
yeah. And that sweet Bill synergy that we try to use.
Oh, good. Right. Next, we have Gollum from the old Goblin Town. Legendary, I think, in Goblin Town.
100%.
Better than Watcher in the water.
No. I mean, well, I mean, Gollum comboed with the King beats Watcher.
Hence why it's the tricky one. Technically, they're cheaper. King and Gollum are cheaper than Watcher, right?
Couldn't the Watcher he's got shooting attacks, though. So that would disrupt it. I don't know how much it would disrupt it, but like...
Can you target
I'm
Gollum with the shooting attack? Because is it a regular shooting attack or is it a special rule?
I'm just looking.
It's a shooting attack, but it hits automatically.
But you can't target someone with the one ring.
Target.
Yes, so I don't think you could because I think it is technically a shooting attack.
Anyway, outside of this 1v1 that we have,
so I think you almost always take Gollum in Goblin Town. You don't always take the Watcher in Moria.
Yeah,
would be my argument.
True, but I don't know if that necessarily means that rules.
But for what he does, points-wise, I think
that just means that Moria has a better, well-rounded list where you have options rather than only one way of really running it.
But we're not judging the list here; we're judging how the hero works.
True, but we're judging it in the context of the list, right?
But arguably, your point is showing that Gollum's invaluable and that he's an auto-include, and therefore he's better.
He's an auto-include because there's nothing else to take.
So that just makes him really, really good, though, in the context of the list.
I don't think that's how it works. If your army list was exclusively shit, does that mean that the shit who happens to be leading them is therefore the best model in the game because you always take him? No. But anyway, let's put him in legendary. We'll just leave him there and not bother placing him exactly. Equal with the Watcher. Pippin, same as Merry. Shit. Into where he goes.
Is he? Which one goes at the bottom? Which one's worse?
Pippin, because I don't. Actually, I don't know.
Well, the thing is,
we're talking.
I think this is the big question. This is why people clicked on the video. I was about to make a good point. I can't remember what it was. So
it wasn't good though.
Gondor is an infantry-based army, so Pippin is less of a liability than a hobbit running around in a Rohan list, which could be all Cav. Not all Rohan lists are all Cav, obviously, but I think Pippin is less of a liability.
True.
Although Pippin has defense and Merry has strike, so
I almost feel like defense is more useful if you want just a little shit goblin running around not dying.
I mean, also Merry can take a pony and a shield.
Oh, well, there you go. He can keep up. He's only 2 inches behind, just like Pippin's only 2 inches behind. So I think your point's invalid.
Yeah. Although that would make Merry a 35-point hero. Oh,
I think Mary's shitter.
I think Merry's worse.
I think Mary's shitter. I'm gonna
Wow, there you go.
put Pippin in his rightful place.
Not at the bottom.
Not at the bottom. Well, Lobelia's at the bottom, don't worry.
Yeah.
Sigrid and Tilda, I don't care where they go, so just tell me where you two think they should go.
Top of Fantastic, above Alfred.
They're good.
They're
Like,
really good
In Survivors, they basically do what Rosie does, but with an actually legitimate
with a good hero.
Bane. Bane's technically on this twice because he's an independent hero in Lake Town and a minor hero in Survivors. Don't know whether that means we need to put him in twice, but I thought no. So he's just on here once. Again, I don't care where he goes. You two can place him.
Onod, maybe. He's nothing special. I can't remember. I don't think his rule does anything. Does it do something with Bard, or
he gets +1 to his courage value when he's within 6 inches of Bard, and something else.
He gets something if he's within Sigrid and Tilda's range.
So he gets a +1 to his fight value if he's within 6 inches of them, and he can call a heroic combat if he's within 6 inches of both of them.
Okay, so the strat is that you put him in the same combat as Bard so that you can.
No, but Bard would get that rule anyway.
But you combat with him and strike with Bard. So he's a bit of a shit muncher, but he's a useful shit muncher with Bard and Sigrid and Tilda. At which point are you paying like 200 points to make Bard useful? Jesus Christ.
So that would be 225 points.
Yeah. So you have to basically pay 225 points so that Bard can potentially compete with like Azog. Fucking hell.
You would have 9 fate though.
I hate the Hobbit rules. He's probably solid then, isn't he? With what he does, right?
Like I said.
Yeah, utility.
Thrain, do you want to roll 2 dice to see if you get a useful model every turn?
I enjoy rolling dice.
I like gambling.
Roll my dice.
Is he really in the league of Fatty Bolger, Pippin and Merry with their shit profiles, Bill and Lobelia? Are we really consigning him to that fucking garbage bin? Or is he maybe in the slightly better garbage bin, the recycling bin of Berricond, Merry and Pippin in their slightly less shit profiles, Bud and Butterbur, and Volko Boffin?
Boffin, the man who refuses to face the camera. I think the thing is, he's courage 4, so you're passing that roll more than half the time. And like, if you pass it, he's fight 6, strength 4, 3 attacks, and courage 6 to the end of the turn. Like, I think he's a liability, but he.
How many points?
10.
Like 10, isn't he? He can be like an evil army, right? So for an evil army, fight 6 access. Actually, he probably, against all of this absolute shite, probably should be in solid, shouldn't he?
Yeah. So he's either in. He's historical allies with the White Council, as long as it's got Gandalf the Grey, and historical allies with Dol Guldur, as long as it has the Necromancer.
God, imagine running White Council with fucking 3.
3 just running around. But like, I don't know. I think he's an interesting character. I don't think he's good. I personally would put him somewhere in average.
He can go top of average. There we go. For 10 points, which is the same as Merry and Pippin, he's probably just as useful as they are in the Fellowship. Yeah, Schmeagol, it's Gollum without the ring. Probably average. But there's only really one list where you'd ever take him, which is Rangers of Ithilien.
Or some really low point fellowship shenanigans.
Well, but you can only take him if it's Frodo and Sam and him, which is like 150 points. So outside of narrative,
That's my life.
It's unlikely you'd take that. As we know from our YouTube shorts, where I did a 150 point battle report, it's not very good.
Yeah. Thanks for watching that, everyone. I'm going to put him at the bottom end of average.
Yeah, he's better than Falco. He's better than Barlaman. He's probably not. Well, he might be better than Merry Pippin, but I'm going to put him under because of Merry Pippin being able to do the combat thing with Boromir is quite useful. Yeah. I mean, he is 2 attacks, fight 4 in the Rangers list.
Strength 4.
It's not like the end of the world. I've seen a couple battles where he's like actually, murdered a few warriors. So, it's not dreadful. Scribblington is probably in Legendary.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's amazing.
At the bottom of Legendary. Here we go.
I think
below Grima. Put him above
Grima. No, above Grima.
Above Haleth. I put him above Haleth.
Yes. I mean, I've not got your version of it up here, so
I'm putting him under Gollum, but above the other 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Harry Goatleaf.
Guy is fucking garbage.
Yeah, can't you take him in a Ruffians list? Is that right?
Yeah, hang on. Let me get.
Can you?
Yeah. He's historical allies, I think, with them as well. So actually, to be honest, in the context of Ruffians, he's probably like a top 3 hero. Hang on, let me find his rules. Harry Goatleaf, 40 points. Jesus wept. He's basically like a standard man model. He's got 2 wounds and a fate, 3 will. He historical allies with the Fellowship. Convenient with a bunch of others, and impossible with everybody else. In Ruffians, he's a hero of fortitude, and he can be included in the Chief's Ruffians.
Oh, we can't rate him based on his Ruffians list then, because he's going to have to reappear in the fortitude video. Hooray! Yeah. So as a Fellowship ally, he's pretty garbage, right?
Yeah. But convenient with Rangers, Minas Tirith, Fiefdoms, Dedadun Harrow, Rohan, Druiden, Rivendell, Lothlorien, Fangorn, and Misty Mountains.
I mean, he's got a fun special rule, but I just don't really know how you'd use him effectively for how many points he is.
Yeah.
Bottom of average, because we don't really know.
Yeah, I think he does stuff, but like for 40 points, he doesn't do enough stuff. I think like Whiff is like stuff. But I think Whiff is for characters that add like nothing. Like they don't they do nothing. Like
I love that as a tagline though. Harry Goatleaf, he does stuff.
He doesn't do a lot of stuff. He does some stuff.
Colonel Curden, probably fantastic.
Yeah.
Probably not quite legendary now. He's minor hero.
Yeah.
Better than Alfred. Blinding Light versus Alfred shit. Better than Sigrid and Tilda.
Yeah. As a spellcaster, he's phenomenal, but like fitting him in a list is really tricky.
Durnhelm.
That is some legendary shit.
Bottom of legendary.
Yeah, I think maybe better than Grima, worse than Haleth.
Yeah, you definitely take Haleth more often in foot armies.
But Durnhelm's super good in like Theoden's Riders for like getting a cheap way to.
She's like the 4th or 5th one you take.
Yeah, but you're gonna take loads of heroes in that list, aren't you? Because you kind of want to take, especially at high points, you want to take heroes. Tom Bombadil, our boy.
He's weird, but he's really good in the right list.
Mm.
I mean, the fact
he's just so cool.
The fact he's allowed in competitive play, I think, is a bit bonkers. Like,
yeah, but equally, you never actually see him, so
true. Low fantastic.
Yeah, he's a lot of points, but he does for some lists give you quite a bit.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got shenanigans, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Other generic ranger whose name I can't remember. He's not the two that we talked about though.
Damrod.
Yes.
Who is friends.
Damn, Rod.
Rod.
What is he?
He's 25. Do you know his stats? Do you want me to read his stats, or do you not really?
They're in the Army's Middle-earth, right?
Yeah.
I'll look whilst you talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just a relatively good cheap hero. Like, I personally, I'd rank Baragond higher than we have done, so I'd rank him a bit higher. Like, I think he'd be good as just like if you needed one small warband of like rangers or something. I think he'd be good for leading that. But yeah, I reckon he's worse than Baragond.
Yeah, I mean, now that the other two rangers exist to have a special rule, this guy just seems like a shitter version of them, right?
Yeah, but they are 10 points more expensive. He is very cheap.
Yeah, I think average. Goldberry, very, very good, but because you have to take Tom, I don't ever see when you need to be so overkill. You need both of them, so I think that she's probably suffering.
Points.
Yeah, I think she's probably low down just because you don't need her if you're taking Tom.
Yeah.
So sorry, Goldberry. I'm not going to put you in whiff because you're better than that. Yeah. I will put you higher than Goatleaf, Folco, and Barlaban out of respect. And finally, Shelob. Shelob's probably a case for legendary in the Legion. Probably just fantastic normally.
I think she's like one of the swingiest heroes in the game, right? Like, because she was in our sub 100 point fucking game. Like, when she wins a combat, like the lethality is crazy. And like I think she's a monster that she gets access to brutal power attacks. Like that's really good. And like,
the Legion makes her a bit more reliable as well because then she gets to. Does she just get a flat out +1 attack, or is it when she charges that she gets?
It's something? When she's attacking she hungers for sweeter meat, so it's like elf, hobbit, man model or something.
Okay.
So I think it's a bit worse than that, maybe, but like, still a thing.
But top of fantastic under Círdan,
Mr. Custard Círdan,
under Sigrid and Tilda. They do very different things. It's different.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to compare them. Just because of the Legion, maybe chuck Shelob above them. Just because, like, I think in that Legion, she is pretty fucking scary.
There we go. Wow. I don't think we need to move anyone else around. I think there is a case that maybe like people who play Survivors will probably argue that we've maybe undervalued those because we just don't really have much Survivors experience. But I think everyone else is probably fair. Tell us why you're wrong in the comments.
I was going to say, I think this video will be very good for the comment section.
We will ignore you though.
Lots of catharsis will be going on down there.
Yeah. I'm just glad that Rosie is better than all of these schmucks, according to this list.
Heroes.
Yeah. No, Rosie's objectively better than Thrain.
Shelob.
No, not Shelob. Well, maybe. Good. Right, so last thing that we need to discuss is news.
There is some news, technically.
The news is that there will be more news. Hooray!
Oh my god.
Fucking leave us alone, honestly. Stop nagging us.
Playing with us.
So yeah, we look forward to that news.
Yeah, so they've dug some old models out the warehouse and they're gonna give them to you, and
they're making them in red instead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a made to order, isn't there?
Yeah. It would be easy to forget.
I forgot about that. Anything tickle your fancy?
No.
I have always quite liked that AMR model.
What, the
What?
big forehead? Big forehead.
Big forehead. Apart from his forehead, I like the rest of his model. You could always no. Big forehead AMR is he's the one that's standing with his helmet in his hand. I'm talking about AMR on horse with the oval shield.
Okay, that's my bad.
I quite like that oval shield for some reason.
Okay, well, that's nice.
I really like Aragorn pointing.
Yeah, Aragorn and Gimli with his like hands on top of his axe. I think.
Oh yeah, and Legolas with like his like knife drawn.
Yeah,
they are a nice three hunters group, and you've got like the armor on Aragorn and everything.
Yeah.
Do I need a? Would this be my 5th or 6th Aragorn sculpt? Probably not is the answer. So it's unlikely that I get them at what I imagine will be an outrageous price. I also like that Gamling and Hammer have got included in made to order despite being just acquirable now.
Yeah.
Like you could just go and buy these, but instead they throw them into a made to order so that you have to pay more
to make the made to order look more significant, isn't it? Because it's actually not that significant.
I imagine that it's because originally they were packaged like this, and so for the nerds who the very small number of nerds who were playing this when it originally came out but don't yet have it, they would appreciate that. Apparently, this Captain of Rohan model was like never available separately before the Banner Bearer. I actually quite like him; he's cool, but I imagine he'll be too expensive to buy. Those are my thoughts on the made to order. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
Any other thoughts?
I think that's completely reasonable. I mean, I'm like. I'm experiencing an all-time low in like MESBG related motivation, so this is kind of water off a duck's back for me. Like I don't really care, but like I think
you're telling me you're not going to buy Plastic Fellowship in gold.
It's so shiny.
Gold.
I'll buy it in gold and then prime it in black.
But you will know. Fuck the haters.
I'll drop one of the models once. There'll be a little scratch and it'll be gold underneath.
Yeah.
And my opponent will be like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'll be like, "Shh.
Do you like my limited edition Fellowship,
peasant?" I paid way too much money for this.
Yeah. Good. There was a load of 40k news which I can't go through. I will mention Crowman. Crowman's cool, isn't he?
No.
Do you not like Crowman?
I wouldn't say he's cool. Like I like him, but he's not cool.
Well, Greemer's not cool, is he? He was clearly bullied severely during his childhood. But
where are you going with this?
I like Crowman. It's a shame that he's an event exclusive, which requires you to go to some nerd shit to get him. Have you actually seen what the alternative model is for the event exclusives? Because every year they do one 40k one fantasy one. The 40k one is just a normal Kroot. Like, why the fuck would you buy that? Just go buy a normal Kroot.
I agree.
So yeah, I can't imagine that they're going to do many sales on the Kroot, but I imagine they'll do okay with Crowman. Yeah, is there any Star Wars shiz you want to talk about? Or
there was some new Shatterpoint stuff, wasn't there? Some Ewoks.
I think that's stuff that was already announced. It's just we now know that it's coming out.
Yeah, and it had. Yeah. I mean that'll be cool. Like, I think I probably will buy it just because I like Ewoks. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's fine. And I think like increasingly as I take the possibility of buying Shatterpoint increasingly seriously, like I do realize how expensive it is for like what you get.
A lot of money for not a lot of money.
Yeah. And so I think like I might just buy one or two, but it may also be possible we just never fucking play it. Like, if I don't know, we'll see.
We play a lot of games.
we don't play that many games. Like we
Right,
got
I play a lot of games.
Yeah. Well, it's like we got stuck on like SBG for a while, and then we don't do Legion now. And like I don't know, I think I'm still like barely started with Legion. Never mind like moving on to another game. So yeah, my perspective.
Yeah. I was making lists for some Empire remnant forces today.
Cool.
Can we just cut now so that I don't have to edit out a fucking Legion chat?
Okay.
No offense. We can do it after Craig stopped.
Okay.
Rude.
Well, we've been the Hobby Breakfast Show. I've been OT, and I've been joined by Onod. Say goodbye, Onod.
Goodbye, Onod.
Okay, and say goodbye, Mayor.
Goodbye, Mayor.
There we go. Right.
Yay, we did the thing.
Yeah.
We did it.
We clapped. We
I'm
clapped.
patting myself on the back.
Yeah. Join us next time if you want to, or don't if you don't want to.
Cue the music.